Not really liking the 808. I mean, I like it, but it's too loud. I hear it crackling, and it's hitting right there. Not really sure. I got an idea, but let's see if we can do it. I use a limiter here because it's softer at rolling off the top of the audio file rather than a clipper. A clipper has a sharp cutoff. So when you have a sound like this, this isn't really going to show us. This is probably more ideal. So when you have a sound and it plays, a clipper essentially is like that line. That purple is what went over the line, and the clipper just cuts it right off, shaves it off like scissors. And that's what you got. And it creates distortion at that point where you hear it. That's why when I at the beginning, when I brought up the volume of that snare or clap, if you bring it up too much, this part will be up into the clip portion, the zero part. That's why it doesn't sound very good. You have all this extra noise along with it. So we're going to try to keep this still distorting. I'm going to see if I can do something else here. I don't want the 808 into that. The drum, I guess. Well, I gotta set this up now that I ran into it. Make sure it's on drum. Sidechain, I got my sidechain all set up. Maybe it's just got high frequency information. I want to try to push down that boom, when it goes bang, and then it comes down and then starts falling. I want to try to push that down. It's very loud to begin with. Oh, this might be why. Yeah, that's why. Miscalculation. Yeah, it's pretty good. We don't even need all that stuff. It's way under the limiter. It could actually be louder. So I'm going to actually use a compressor to bring it up. So now it's basically hitting much closer to the zero mark here. Now I can bring it down, running into my bus. And I have this meter here, tells me my integrated loudness, which is like how loud it is overall in LUFS over time. And my true peak max, which is the peaks of the transients. At no point in the song or track or beat do you want it to be going over zero here. Like right now when I speak, it goes up to 6, almost 5. No point does it get up to 0. So everything you put on here needs to be hitting under 0. So when I turn on, hit play, that bass is only at 9. So now when I play it with the drums and the bass, I don't want that limiter here. I gotta make sure this is actually the right pitch. C sharp. I don't think we want a C sharp. I think we want a C. So I'll put this as C sharp. Now it should play C. C. But now I want to get my levels back up. That's hitting around 2.4 dB. I'll just put a clipper just to make sure it's not going over. See, it was. And the clipper keeps it from going over 0. And then when you bring it down, you're bringing all this audio that's running to this bus is getting clipped to 0. And now you're bringing it down. So it's 0. If you play it straight up, it's at 0. So if you add anything to it, instruments, 808, in that same frequency range, it's going to push the whole level up. So we need to bring this down. Where am I at? There's 2 dB. Let's go 3. It's probably too much, but we'll fix it. I feel like that bass sounds weird. Kind of sounds like it's got a lot of high end on it. Yeah, it does. Now it's not crackling as much. See, we're at negative 0.3. Not hitting 0, but we're still dangerously close. So if we add instruments, I also have my limiter here, which is also doing work, not allowing everything to go over. So shut off the instruments again and just do the bass and the drums. See, my snare is hitting. So what I see is my snare, when the bass is not playing, is hitting way down below 0. But when the bass is playing, it's hitting 0. So I can mess with this. In my kick drum. Maybe I want to compress this a little bit. Not a lot. By moving the attack of the compressor over, it pushes the sound, which this is on the drums, makes them more dull sounding, less transient. So we're doing about 3 dB gain reduction. It kicks just a little too loud. Maybe I can chop that off too before it gets into there. Not a lot, just a little bit. See, we're hitting 0. It's a prime example of having a bass that has the same frequency right here, about 32-ish. I can tell you right here, C1, 33, right? Go to my kick, C1, it's basically hitting the same area. And what's happening is these two sounds are clashing and fighting for this area. So if I put a EQ on here, see how it's my kick and my bass are both in the same frequency space. I mean, what do? I like the kick sound and I like the bass sound. So you gotta compromise somewhere. I mean, even though I'm running my drums back into my bass and sidechaining it, that's what that is right there. Whenever the kick hits, it's pushing this frequency down so that it makes room for my kick. And as soon as the kick dissipates and the noise goes back to infinite, it allows my kick to come back up. If you do that, say I bring this over here so that it hits the whole frequency range, it'll have a pumping effect. It drowns out the entire bass. So I just do it by frequency. It's more transparent. Same thing, that's what 6 is doing for the hi-hat. It doesn't even need to be that much. So you gotta make a choice. Either use a different kick, different bass, use a different octave. I just love how much low end there is on that kick, but it's more of a pumpy club kick. So we'll fool around, see what we can do. So I copied the pattern from that kick to my other kicks that I also like. Oh, I got two playing at the same time. And now we'll basically do an A/B test back and forth. Can't even hear that low. So that tells me this kick would probably be better suited for something without that deep bass in it. Like if the bass dropped out and you changed up your instrumentation in like your bridge or just before the hook or in the hook or anything like that, you just switch to this kick if you really like it. Otherwise, use a different kick so you're not chewing up that frequency spectrum. Now this is a good example of cutting all the frequency after the kick. That's cutting it. Sounds different. Almost sounds like it's adding a higher, like it's adding higher frequencies, but it's not. It's just getting rid of all of the stuff it doesn't need down below it. It doesn't need to be there. You're never gonna hear it. You could probably feel it, and it's just interfering with the rest of the mix. The more you can get rid of all that junk down here, the more you can bring the volume of your mix up. And it really depends on what you want for a sound. And if people are listening to this beat on a phone or small headphones or small speakers or cheap speakers, you need this high information. That's what they would hear on a phone, essentially. Right there. Cutting out all of the bass. So if you just drop this out, you might still get the effect of the kick, but it won't be audible. So I try to make sure I have something in there, because trap and hip hop beats, not so much boom bap, but trap, they get rid of all this high end. Not all of it, but it's not as prominent. And that's what helps define a genre in hip hop, boom bap, trap, drill, like how you shape your sounds is what determines a genre. think I like that. I didn't like this punch. That knock. To me, it sounds a little cleaner. So now, all that boring stuff out of the way, we'll bring back our instruments. See what else we can do. Now we'll do strings. Grab the old keyboard. We know we're in key of C. So we have our main instrument, our lead instrument here, which kind of changes here and there. Not so much here. We only did this for this intro, just to give it that pitch bend. And then it goes back to the same thing without the pitch bend here. You could also do another one with the pitch bend going down. We can see what that sounds like. And it's too much. It's a little too much for it. Go to 5 cents. Nah, don't work. That's not bad. All right. So now we've got our hook melody here. And in the past, this is where I would mess up because I would overproduce. Like if you got too much going on, what are you going to listen to? You got your vocal, you got your main lead instrument, your drums, your bass, and then this other sound going on. You want to use volume to control what the listener is focusing on. So this lead instrument at the beginning, playing through the intro, is like, okay, that's what my brain is following. And then when it drops, that's what the brain is going to try to latch onto, even though you got your drums playing. The drums are loud, yeah, but they're just the bones of the instrumentation. Too loud though. Little long too. We'll stop it at right here. We'll change the mode to auto so that it keeps its pitch, and slow this. It's not slowing it down, just making it shorter. We want it to stop right here. Bam. That's it. Maybe another one here, another one at the beginning of the hook. We're gonna take it and pitch it back down. So now, instead of all that high information we had, because it was in a higher octave, see all up here? We pitch it down. Now it's going to roll everything down into another octave. Each one of these is an octave. Now watch. It's up here. C7. C6. So that's living right here, C5, C6. And this, 7. This is living C4, C5, C6. I mean, it works. Kinda. You just gotta give it space. Room to breathe. Can't have everything playing over top of each other. Everything needs to have its own space. Whether it's panning it, can be on the right side. This one could be on the left side. Doesn't sound appealing, but you could. A lot of music in the 70s was made that way, but they would take the drums and put them left to right, and the instrumentation on the left to right, and then the vocals in the middle. But I don't like that. I want this down lower. Bring this back up. Another thing, if you had a compressor to an instrument like that, what you have here is essentially a percussive sound, like a drum. And if you take your compressor and lower the attack, and bring down your threshold and ratio, it pushes that transient down, so you get more body. And essentially what that does is push the sound further back into the mix. Because the more you have transients makes things feel close and up front in the mix. And when you cut your transients, it pushes it back into the mix. Sometimes it's obvious when you do it. You really got to pay attention and really listen critically. And other times you hardly notice it. When you pay attention and do all of those minute little tricks and moves, that's how you get the beat to sound alive and full. Like my kick, I cut it off here, but I only did very little. Very, very little, just to control my peaks, the peak of the transient, so it wasn't just blistering up to that 0 point. It's a little loud. We can also give this an EQ, shape this. Show you another little trick. Take this, do the same thing. Shift, make unique sample. Now we'll reverse it. Changes the sound completely. So now we can take this. I'll use it over here first. We'll cut this. Whoops. Right click on the mouse. We'll cut completely out. Left click. We'll just slice. So where's that? All that noise. We want to also pull this over because we want it bigger. That's on auto. See what happens if we go even bigger. To get this, I just push the wheel. I'm pushing the wheel and then right click brings this up. Then these are your tools. Your slice, your drag, your mute, paintbrush, pencil, delete. I'm trying to get rid of that. That harshness. I don't know if it's because of it being too loud or if it inherently has that. See? Yep, just too loud. Or we can move it back a little bit so it can do this kind of thing. So everything drops out right before the beat comes in. I'm gonna send this to its own channel so it's not on the reverb because we want it to just go silent. So what I'm doing here is I want to take this same EQ shape. So I left click, save preset as, just drag it over here and drop it. But this probably would have been a lot cooler over here. That's not bad. We'll do the same thing here, but with the sound. Another thing you can do is come up here, put that there, hit, I forget what it is. I think it's Shift T. Yeah. And that'll give you a little marker for a loop. Right click. I just messed up. What is happening right now? So this is my loop. Okay. Well, that's my loop. So now when it plays to the end of this, it'll go right back to basically verse right here. This is basically 16 bars. Then this is 8. for a hook. I just clicked on that counter melody for the hook and placed it down here. I'm going to consolidate it. Consolidate, bounce, whatever you want to call it. Everybody calls it something different. Now we're going to try pitch shifting it. Now we want to add a little more to it. Hopefully try to give it a transient, which you can't really add a transient to it. You probably could with Smack Attack, but Smack Attack's really only good on drums. It'll actually help it and give it a little smack. I mean, it does exactly what the name says. Smack, that click. I want this a little lower in the mix. And I got to route it to my instruments. And I got to make sure I come back to this because I added another new instrument to the instrument bus. So now I got to bring this back to the drums for my sidechain. So now I got this counter melody, which I'm just going to name it. Maybe give it a color, brown. See, I only got so many instruments playing at the same time. You can't have too much going. And if you do, the thing I was showing you with the kick and the bass, where you have the two frequencies fighting for space, it's the same thing you have to do with your instruments. You can load up the instruments and like layer them. But each one has to sit in its own frequency space. You know, like one would be here in this frequency space, which this I'd be like sub bass, kick, maybe the low end body of the snare, probably here. Up here's the high frequency for the snare. Hi-hat instrumentation will just shut down the drums and the bass. So if I go here, if I shut off that plucky sound, this lives down here, right here, and then my plucky sound is above it. Yeah, they do overlap, and you're gonna have that. But like I said at the beginning, once you get over 200, it's not as much of an issue. You don't have to worry about frequencies fighting each other as much. You still do, especially with the snare conflicting with other instruments and the hi-hat, for example. That's why I sidechain. see, we're only at 12.6 loudness, which is not great. We need that to be at least 9, -9. Bass is more than likely going to be the contributing factor to the loudness. See if I can't pump it up a little bit. See, it goes up to 9.9 without that. We got 14 with it. We got 9. I mean, it's zeroing out, so the drums probably won't be able to do anything. So I just gotta add more control, bring down the bass, not too much. You gotta try to get it loud, but also not go over true peak. This cannot hit 0.0. You truly barely even want it to hit 0.1. 0.2 is like ideal. And then sometimes it'll hit 0.1. So I want a little more loudness. So I'm going to do the same thing here. What I'm doing is a version of parallel compression. If you looked it up, it would say create another track or another channel with your compressed, like your kick. You would put another kick here. I push this over and route this to it, and then add that compressor, which may be the thing to do, but I'm going to try this first because right now I have it on my drum bus, so it's going to actually smash everything that's routed into it, which could sound terrible, but we're going to find out. And B. Oh, it's not hitting 0 now, but I may want to add another clipper to make sure it doesn't go over that 0 mark. And just listen critically. Make sure you don't hear any distortion when the bass and the kick hit at the same time. I mean, you can have distortion if that's what you want. You also don't want to be 0.02 or 0.2. That's no good. So I'm going to back off my compressor here. Bring it up a little bit. Typically, what makes this go over is the snare. The snares usually have such a high frequency smack and snap to it that it just, once it's added with the instruments and all the other high information, it brings it up over that peak. That's why at the beginning when I said I turned down my hi-hats on 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So everything in between them that isn't hitting at the same time as the kick and the snare, they can have a little more volume. I went over 1.01 again. So drop this down, add this again. Maybe I need to higher my attack. Maybe the bass is too loud. Yeah, see that? Bass was too loud. But I gotta find the sweet spot to get my loudness and peak up. I mean, my loudness up and my peak down. We're almost back where we started at that 12. I think it's the snare driving it over. Yeah. Sometimes what I'll do on here, they have patcher, and you can basically route high frequency and then low frequency and then side chain or process the high information, which would be my snare, the top of the snare and stuff, which is probably what's making it go over the true peak. Control that better. Allow the low end to stay the way it was to get it to work. We just got to control those peaks. Maybe I'll add the compressor after the G clip. Because we know it's shaved right off at the clipper. The other thing you have to worry about is the polarity, the phase. Your speaker, when it plays sound, the speaker will go out or in, mostly with bass elements. And if your kick hits and your bass hits at the same time, and one of them's polarity is going out, positive, and the other one's going in, negative, they'll cancel each other out. And therefore, it'll sound weaker. And you don't want that. Because what I noticed with my bass is when it could be more simple than what I'm about to say, but when I turn this cut on, it seems like the bass gets stronger, but it could be because it's canceling the lower end information out. I might have to try to get rid of the low information on the bass. See how everything up here above that fundamental seems to get louder? So we'll keep that cut. we're only hitting 3 now. And now we're at 10.4. None of this really matters because once I put a vocal over it, you got to do the whole thing over again and make sure you're not going over negative 0.1. I try to keep it 1 because once you go over 0.0, you're distorting and that's no good. We're at 11, 10, but even from here, we still got our limiter. This one's an even better one. We can bring this ceiling down, which is going to be our true peak max, because we don't want it to go over. And then when you bring the threshold down, you want to bring your release down too. So we can make this louder by using this and cranking it. So we'll see what we can do. See, we hit 0, now we're 4. But that might have been from me talking. Added more audio to the mix while it's already at 0. Well, we got down to that 9 we were going for. So, all right. Till next time.